The opinions expressed are those of the program host and guest and not those of WPSL. WPSL does not endorse products that may be mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WPSL. Time now for the Sue Ellen Sanders Show. Your host, Sue Ellen Sanders.
And welcome to the Sue Ellen Sanders Show. We're glad you're here because we're going to be talking about something that could change your life. Everybody's been listening to this show for the last 18 years, knows that I'm a runner, and I believe in both the physicalness of running and how it helps your mental facility as well. And what I'm issuing now is an invitation for anyone who hasn't run before to come out to try a 5K or a 10K because we have an awesome one coming up. It's called the SUGAR PLUM RUN, and it's coming up. It's a Friday evening race, and here to talk more about it is the race director, who is none other than Al Soricelli, also a very avid runner and a local businessman who has come to WPSL and said, hey, let me do a 5K and a 10K run to benefit the WPSL Christmas Kids.
Wow, very, very well said. Thank you, Sue Ellen. I really appreciate the opportunity to come on the show and discuss this race. My wife and I, Aunt Soricelli, my wife and I it's a passion for us. In some way, shape, or form, we have been involved with the Christmas Kids for over 20 years, and that is the charity that will be benefiting from our efforts. So we're very, very excited about this race.
So back when you were just teenagers, you and Ann, got involved with the Christmas Kids, yes. And it's cool that Al and Ann have also involved other members of their running community and also of their family in the race.
We have. My running story, I guess, will come up a little bit later in the show, but we're very fortunate to be affiliated with just an amazing group of people, otherwise known as TC Running. Used to be B as in boy, C Running, but now it's TC Running, which stands for Treasure Coast Running. And we're just a very loose, friendly club of runners just supporting each other and having a great old time in this amazing passion that we all share. So TC Running has been very helpful in our efforts in promoting this race. And judging by our registration, which to call it robust may be a bit of an understatement at this point in time, we're very excited and very grateful for their help and their assistance.
Friday, November 10th is the race. So you still have time. If you've never run a 5K, you can still come out. And, if you're running 2 or 3 times a week or run walking 2 or 3 times a week, you can really manage a 5K distance. Because here's the thing about runners is all types are welcome. It doesn't matter if you're a newbie runner or a longtime runner. It doesn't matter if you're fast or slow. It doesn't matter if you walk or if you run the whole way. Runners are an unusual group of people where they're friendly to everyone. You could go to a big city like Chicago and New York City where no one says hello on the street. And if you're a runner and you run into another runner, they're going to say hello to you because runners are that type of person. So it's a lot of fun to go to races. It's like Christmas Day for runners because you get to see all your friends. You get to, somebody hands you water and treats, and you get a medal at the end. So it's a win-win for everybody, not to mention the Christmas Kids.
It is. Just listening to you talk about runners, that's really very, very well put. One thing I've learned about runners, probably one of the most non-judgmental group of people going, and people who enjoy other people's success. That's kind of a commodity. That's kind of odd because a lot of people don't like it when other people succeed. It's unfortunate, but it is a fact of life. Runners, on the other hand, to a person, really celebrate other runners' success.
They do.
They do. And one of the joys that a lot of runners have, we call it, or I call it, minting new runners, taking somebody off the proverbial couch, introducing them to the joys of running, giving them a tip or two so they don't get hurt or do something kind of silly that they shouldn't be doing, and then watching them become passionate about the sport and the benefits from running. You kind of touched on that before, but they're fabulous. Yes, of course, you're going to get healthier. You're going to get more physically fit. That goes without saying. But the emotional, spiritual transformation is absolutely amazing.
It is. And the last few years, I've also been a cross-country coach. And right now, I'm coaching at Lincoln Park Academy. And most of our JV team are middle school kids. Some of them have never run before. They may have run as part of a different sport. But the first 5K distances they ran when they ran as part of a timed race were so exciting to them. And now watching them change and grow, or in some cases shrink, and their times go down, and how excited that they get and how addictive it becomes. The thing about running is that it's a way of life, and it's something that you can do. One of my favorite all-time runners is a young man who lives in town whose name is Les Plum. And he is Kathy Perona's dad, and he is in his 80s, and he can run a 5K as fast as I can. He's been running for so many years, and he's a fixture at local races. And you actually see a lot of runners of all ages out there. And sometimes you just know them because they're a fellow runner. You run into them at races, and sometimes they're people that you've minted. You know, as you said, they may be cross-country kids that you coach, or co-workers that you coerced, or they may be those newbies that you got to come out for a run for the very first time. The Sugar Plum Run is really a fun event because a lot of the races that you'll do are morning races, and you have to get up early. You've got to get to the race start early, and then especially if you push yourself really hard, you might be a little beat the rest of the day. This is an end of the day race, and it's as a Friday evening race. It will be kind of the event itself. It's kind of your big Friday night.
I really appreciate you referring to it as an event, because that is what we want to convey. A lot of races, and speaking with my good friend Mike Melton, who is doing the timing for this race, he talks about how up north, a lot of these evening races become events. People hang out, they enjoy themselves. It's as social as it is competitive. And that's what we're trying to build with the Sugar Plum Run. So how do you do that? First things, find a really, really good venue, because as runners, we want good courses. So using Tradition Square, downtown Tradition, as our starting and ending point, starting line and finish line, gives us a blank palette for creativity with these courses. So we're going to have two very nice courses. One thing as a runner that I can't personally stand, one of my personal pet peeves, is when you enroll in a combination 5K, 10K. I love 10Ks, a little bit tactical. 5K, I call it the torturous sprint. 10K is a bit more tactical. Love 10Ks. But when you join these races that are 5K, 10K combos, and you have to run the 5K loop twice to make a 10K, that's annoying.
You're watching people who are running that 5K sprinting past you at the end and knowing that you have another 3 miles that you have to run.
That's more annoying, and you want to scream at everyone, say, hey, you only running half the race. Stop looking at me like that. So, so we're going to have a common beginning, but two separate and distinct courses for the 5K, 10K. It's just designed so nicely. Kudos to Mike Melton, creating two courses where they start and finish at the same place, but have their own distinct routes. So we're really excited about that. But that's a race. Anyone with creativity can make a race. But we're creating an atmosphere. We want to have fun. We want people to remember this. We want people to come back. So instead of just having your various and sundry granola bars, bananas, and oranges, we are going to have the paella grill, making fresh paella on the spot. We're going to have 2 paellas.
Paella King?
Paella grill.
Is,
No.
is that a different king?
No,
Person?
they haven't affixed royalty to their
Okay.
food, to their name.
Yeah, okay.
They've just affixed incredible quality. And I got to give a shout out to my buddy Bernie Quintero because he's really stepping up. They are donating not only 2 chefs and staff to serve and cook on the spot, but it's going to be just this wonderful feast. They're donating the food. This is going to, anybody who runs in this race will have paella complimentary, and it'll be a choice of paella.
And the food's going to be after the race. Should we just say that the food's going to be after the race?
Absolutely. Otherwise, you're going to be making your own trail.
Yes, because if you're new, you may not completely understand that you
After
run
the
first
race.
and then you eat. Yeah.
Run first, eat second. So we're going to have the paella grill there. We're also planning on having some pizza there. And that's kind of in the works, as well as your various and sundry granola bars and all sorts of post-race nutrition. So we want to have like a really robust offering for the runners afterwards and their families as well. Additionally, we're working on having DJs out there. So we have this really nice musical atmosphere. Couple that with the location of Tradition Square, and that's going to be a nice event. And we really hope, and actually we're anticipating, people are going to stick around and really just take it all in and enjoy the night.
Well, as long as half the people are sweaty anyhow, nobody's in a hurry to go. But you're talking about the 2 distinct different courses, so that means that you probably need quite a lot of volunteers as well.
We do. We always do. What we try to do with we always want to one-up ourselves. So whichever race that we're involved in, we always want the next one to be better. Mm-hmm. So we kind of, I don't want to say learn from mistakes, but we create opportunities for improvement with every race that we do. And we want to make sure that people are easily guided through the courses. So we're going to have ROTC volunteers from Treasure Coast High School and Centennial High School, thanks to my friend Gunny Rodriguez for coordinating this. And we're going to have people literally marking the route and directing people where to go. We're also going to have some other little supplementary methods for guiding that I don't want to give away yet, just strictly for effect. It'll look really nice. And we want to make sure, as Mike Melton says, no bonus mileage. So you're going to need a lot of volunteers just to shepherd people through the courses. Then we're going to have some special volunteers giving out the finisher medals to each person who crosses the finish line.
So you don't have to run fast to get a medal at this race. All you have to do is finish the race.
You do not have to run fast. Matter of fact, with the 5K, there's several people that will actually, at a brisk pace, but they will walk the whole thing, and we encourage that. We want people to, it's walking 3.1 miles, so that's great exercise. But also, a lot of people use that as their first form of encouragement, their on-ramp, if you will, to getting into the sport. But whoever starts and crosses that finish line, we have a beautiful Lucite special Sugar Plum Run finisher's medal.
Well, I saw the picture of it posted on your Facebook, and this might be a good time for us to tell folks that if you wanted to get more information about the Sugar Plum Run, you could get it either through the website, thesugarplumrun.com, or through the Facebook page, Sugar Plum Run.
The Sugar Plum Run, correct.
And there's also a link for signing up online.
Sure. All registration up until race night will be online. This way we don't have to track paper registrations, which could be very, very difficult and also have the tendency of getting lost. So all registration will be online, and it is a very friendly chassis to navigate through. That's another thing, opportunity for improvement. We learn how to make it a more friendly environment or more friendly experience when someone comes and registers.
What time does the actual race start? What time does the event start? And what is the cost of participating?
Sure. The proverbial gun will sound at 6:30 p.m. on Friday night, November 10th. And we start promptly at 6:30.
Will the 5K and the 10K both start at the same time?
They will start at the same time. It's a common start.
Okay.
which is really cool because you have a nice just group of wonderful humanity running together.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. It's great to see. It's one of my most enjoyable parts of every race is seeing that.
And hopefully by November 10th, the weather will be cooling off at night, we're hoping.
Oh, we are so hoping
Yes.
that it is
We're
cooling
so
off at night.
waiting, yes.
So waiting.
Yeah. There was a little bit of a breeze last evening.
Rumor has it, yep.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a hurricane, so that's good.
Yeah. And the 5K, if you've never run or walked a race before, I recommend beginning with the 5K.
Absolutely.
And it's 3.1 miles, so really anybody could finish that distance. And you, depending on what your experience is, you either run it or walk it or walk at a decent pace. The 10K, of course, is 6.2 miles, so it's a little bit more challenging. And as you say, it's something that you could finesse because you really have to pace yourself for 6 miles. You really, I like the 10K distance too because it shows that you have some experience and have some miles under your belt. It's an opportunity to prove yourself if you're a runner.
10Ks are my second favorite race is the 10K. My favorite is a half marathon.
That's mine too.
I love half marathons, but 10K is my second favorite race. And it's also your first natural progression. It's a real, I can't describe how it feels to run your first 10K after conquering the 5K, which, as Yogi Berra would say, 90% of it is half mental. To conquer a 5K and then move on to the 10K is a great feeling. And then to run a great 10K is a phenomenal feeling. And it really motivates you for bigger and better things. And that's where I found my love for half marathons.
And really, you have the opportunity, since this is the first Sugar Plum Run, if you haven't run before, say you're a newbie, come do the 5K this year and then set your goal for the 10K next year.
Yeah.
Or if you're a regular runner and you're used to doing distance, usually they say that you should be running 4 to 5 miles at a stretch before you try a 10K because, there's a certain amount of energy and vitality that comes from being in a race situation where people are handing you water, people are cheering you on, and you're in a energizing type of situation, but you still want to have some miles under your belt before you try that 10K distance.
Absolutely.
So we've established that the race itself benefits the WPSL Christmas Kids and takes place in downtown tradition. And there's tree-lined neighborhood streets you're going to be running down, so you're not running down like a main causeway or anything.
No. And we're going to have plenty of presence courtesy of the Port St. Lucie Police Department maintaining traffic control. I anticipate anywhere from 5 to 6 police officers working our event just to be safe, just to be sure.
It's nice to know because there's nothing that ruins an event more than a car driving on the same course that your runners are running down. But speaking of the Port St. Lucie Police, there is going to be a law enforcement, a first providers challenge that's part of this race, along with a corporate challenge too. So if you're somebody who likes to run as part of a team or walk as part of a team, there's a really good opportunity for you to do that here too. Tell me more about that.
Okay, I'm really glad I have the opportunity to speak about this because this is something that's really exciting. My wife will kill me if I don't tell the total truth on this. This was her idea, so I have to put that out there. And it was a good idea. A little bit of a reach for me because I'm like, oh goodness, we have all we can do to organize a race. But when she thought of these challenges, it made all the sense in the world. So the First Responders Challenge is a great opportunity for the Port St. Lucie Police Department, Fort Pierce Police Department, the Fire District, and the Sheriff's Office to put their it's going to be measured on 2 criteria. One is participation. However, whoever
The
numbers matter. Whomever registers the most, that's going to give strong consideration. Then we're going to take the 5 fastest in the 5K and put it together in this really neat formula, and we're going to determine who is the fittest, fastest, and most enthusiastic of the 4 departments. And they will have bragging rights and a really cool trophy. So right now, to date, I have to say this because, one, I'm competitive and I like to create competitiveness and challenges across different divisions. And the sheriff's office has really stepped up. Deputy Tracy is getting it done. She is really, really behind this, and I'm seeing more registrations from the sheriff's office than I expected. So with that said, Fort Pierce Police, Port St. Lucie Police Department, and St. Lucie County Fire, you guys got some doing to do.
Well, I talked to Brenda Stokes this weekend.
Love Brenda.
And actually, she was out celebrating her first grandbaby.
Yep.
So she was a little busy this last week, but she assured me that the challenge has gone out to the fire district, and they're moving along, getting people signed up, getting people excited about the challenge. And these are guys and gals that are physically fit anyhow.
Great people and highly competitive, too.
Yes. So it's a terrific, fun opportunity for them to not just be competitive against the other first responders, but get together on a Friday evening and have this special event. And I can't say enough about the food, though.
It's going to be great.
Because there's nothing like going to a 5K race or even a 10K or a half marathon or a bigger race where you're paying a ton of money to run the race, and then there's just bananas and oranges and cereal bars after the race.
Right.
It's really kind of a letdown because you don't really want to get in the car and get all sweaty on the upholstery and drive to some place to go and eat. You'd rather just stand around and hang out with your other sweaty friends and sate your appetite there. And paella, how much better than that could, you're carbo loading after the race.
Oh, it's carbs and protein. It's beautiful. It really is. And that's a great point. The ability to have such a nice array of food. And I'm glad you mentioned that, Sue Ellen, because one, you asked the question, I don't think I properly answered it yet. One is, how much will the race cost? And that there's a reason why I'm bringing it up now. The 10K is $40 per participant, and the 5K is $30 per participant. Reason why I'm thinking about it now is because anything that we do, we want to create value. We don't want it to be the cheapest. We don't want it to be the most expensive. We want people to see value, and value is measured across different fronts. What did I get for my money? Did I enjoy myself? Was it a nice time? Was it a good venue? Were we fed afterwards? What was the quality of it? And the bling is going to be amazing. We're going to have these beautiful, really sharp finisher medals for every participant, like I said earlier. First, second, and third prize medals, silver, bronze, and gold, for each age group. And every registrant will also get a really nice, not a cheesy cotton shirt, but a real tech, dry fit, they could race in it, shirt. And that's all included in the registration fee. So you're going to get fed, you're going to get bling, and you're going to get dressed. It's beautiful.
What more can you ask for? And actually $30 and $40 for the race. Yeah, that's very competitive prices, considering the half marathons are usually $75 and up. And this is a challenge, and it will be a lot of fun. So you might ask, if you're listening to this show, what if I'm not a first responder, but I like to compete and I want to get the people from my business out there, being part of this competition, being part of the race, being part of this event? What can I do? And actually, you've got something for them too.
Absolutely. I'm going to use one of our sponsors, because they stepped up and sponsored, as a great example. Dr. Rachel Dermody, the wonderful pediatric dentist, and her husband Chris, the orthodontist. Their office stepped up. They wrote us a sponsorship check, so we're very, very grateful for that. But they also asked me to come out and speak to their staff at a staff meeting, and we caught up. We had fun. I explained the race. Within 10 minutes of me leaving, she registered her entire office. So we had like 12, 13 registrations from Dr. Dermody's office, and they entered what's called the corporate challenge. So if you're a business owner and you want to have a little bit of fun, In the registration chassis, you would just see the corporate challenge, do the drop down. If your business isn't there, go ahead and type it in. You can do that and get your people to run under your business name. In doing so, we're going to have the same thing. Bragging rights. You're going to get a really cool trophy. So the fastest, the fittest, and most enthusiastic business will also get recognized.
And that's a lot of fun too for you to do as a bonding thing with your company. There was a time where everybody was doing, all the businesses were kind of doing the ropes courses and things of that nature. And now there's an opportunity to come out and do a charity run together, get bragging rights, have the money go to a good place. Whether you want to pay for your employees to be a part of it as a perk, or whether they're all going to pay for themselves, either way, it'll be a fun activity where everybody can get together. You can sign up together. The postcards that are going out and about, again, they're this really cute plum-colored postcard. Thank you very much. But you can't sign up on the postcard because, as Al stated at the beginning of the show, it is online only until the night of the race. So you can go online to the sugarplumrun.com and register online. And whether you're signing up on your own, or you're signing up as a family, or you're signing up for the first responders of the corporate challenge, you can do it all online. Get your shirt size in there, get all the information in there. Mike Melton does a marvelous job of getting all the information in the computer. Everything is going to be chip timed. And Mike Melton also usually provides like a reminder email he'll send out to his whole group, everybody who's registered for the race. And then the next day he'll send thank you for being a part of the race email that also includes your race time. And the race times are accurate. The distance will be accurate. You're going to have a lot of coverage. So if you're somebody who runs a lot of races, then you know that these are the things that you're looking for in a run. You want to make sure your distance is accurate, your timing is good, you got a lot of fun bling, you got a good-looking shirt, great
Really
food,
nice looking shirt.
great food afterwards, and a fun Friday night. So people can register, and some of the money that is being raised, especially from the sponsorships, will go toward the PSL Christmas Kids. Let's talk a little bit about WPSL Christmas Kids, because you and I have both been involved for a really long time. When my radio show used to be 3 days a week in the daytime, a lot of times I would follow the Christmas Kids radio production, and they do that in December, where they travel. At the end of November and December, they travel from one location to another, doing live radio shows, raising money for WPSL Christmas Kids, and highlighting different musical groups from around the county and going to different sponsors. And that's a lot of fun to listen to. And the November 10th run will kind of kick off that season for them.
Right, and that was kind of coincidental, but it works out beautifully. And yes, I appreciate you also mentioning that, because the amount of work that Greg and Carol do, going from location to location to location. And I'm very, how do I say this with humility? I'm very proud that my office...
Why start now?
No, it's not my style. People know that.
Al and I go way back. I can say that.
Yeah, not a chance.
Yeah.
I mean, no, as far as humility goes, yes. But my office, we've had the privilege of hosting Christmas Kids broadcasts for several years now, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful time. We set up. Musical talent is always, in my office at least, provided by Morningside Church, and this year Matthew Shalmo will be there, and we're looking forward to a great time. So Greg kind of put the connection together, Greg Wyatt here, when he said, wow, this is going to kick off the Christmas Kids broadcast and everything. Like, yeah, it's going to really kind of be a good, strong lead-in for that. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it'll be a good opportunity. And if you've never if you're a parent in this county, then your kid has probably been involved in one of those broadcasts, either in a choir performance, in a jazz band performance, uh, or just going out and watching. And it's a lot of fun to see all the talent in the county, and then also to see WPSL go out to the different area businesses, and you get to talk or listen, if you're listening on the radio, to the business owners and the people who work there about their favorite Christmas memories. And all the while, the money is being raised for the Christmas Kids. And the Christmas Kids has got a long history as well, back even before my time and your time.
Back to I think the late 1940s, early 1950s. And the Christmas Kids story, for people who take the time to look into it, is pretty amazing. What I find probably, I don't even know how to put this into words, but when there's a lot of great charities out there that have great intentions and they raise money, but a lot of that money goes to salaries, to overhead, to brick and mortar, to things like that. Since time and monument, since day one with the Christmas Kids, no paid staff, 100% volunteer driven. We don't even have, I kind of take mental ownership of the charity. We don't even have a building that we pay rent on.
No, it's really a labor of love for WPSL. And it's so the staff that runs WPSL and their volunteers and their volunteer board all put the program together. And it's beyond just raising money and gifts to give gifts to underprivileged children for Christmas. It's also been expanded to swimming lessons during a time where that need was examined and somebody needed to step up.
Sure.
To meet the need for swimming lessons for kids who could not afford swimming lessons, and other summer programs as well.
And that's true. And a lot of people, you mentioned need and examining and seeing the need. What's really nice about this is whether it's the fact that every dollar raised goes to the charity and the need is determined by St. Lucie County family, children and families. I apologize, I don't remember the exact name of the organization, but this is all a screened process. We're getting a lot of interest with underwriters. As a matter of fact, Florida Blue has stepped up, and they are the presenting sponsor for this race because they found this to be a very, very worthwhile charity. They stroked a check for $1,500 just for this race, and from what I understand, they've also supported Christmas Kids in forms outside of just sponsoring our race. So we're starting to get a lot of traction from these businesses saying, hey, this is really worthwhile. We believe in what you're doing, and you're making a difference.
Well, it makes a lot of sense for health insurance company to sponsor a run because people who run are by and large healthier individuals, and they tend to most of the time eat a little bit healthier, but definitely they have a healthier in general lifestyle. It's something that your business could sponsor too, because you're still looking for business sponsors for the race.
We absolutely we are blessed, and I mean blessed to be able to partner with some of the finest businesses in the area. We've had several step up, and if you go to the website, you'll see some. We just received commitment. When we get the check, they're official, but we just received commitment from 2 more today. So it's very exciting. And interesting that you mentioned, I don't know if you want to go there with this conversation, but it's really interesting that you mentioned a health insurance company being an underwriter of this, because my personal experience, I share this not to make this all about me, but if this can motivate anybody, then I'm really excited. I really became, after many stops and starts and stops and starts, I really became intentional in my running about 6 or 7 years ago. What happened was I was about 60 pounds heavier than I am now. I was borderline diabetic.
I don't think I ever knew you when you were 60 pounds heavier.
Yeah, I distribute it real well, and I was very
Wow.
very creative. I actually I had a little bit of surgery, so I gained some of that back, but it's on its way off anyway. So we call that history. But I was somewhere between 220 pounds and a ton. And I'm 5'6". You can only put that so many different places.
You must have looked like a bowling ball.
I look like a bowling
I
ball.
don't recall that.
No, it's just my overwhelming good looks can mask
I
that.
guess that was it. Yeah.
And so people just focus on my eyes and not the rest
Anne
of
is
me.
just rolling her eyes about
She
now.
is rolling
Yeah.
her eyes big time.
Yeah.
But you can't deny it.
Yeah.
But so my good friend Augie Sands, my personal physician, said,
Who's been a runner for very many years.
the man's amazing. He's not human. The guy, runner, just an amazing human being, a dear friend, an amazing runner, amazing
And his daughter
cyclist.
played soccer with our daughters.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, Miss Alana. It's just beautiful family, beautiful person. And as a friend and a physician said, I need you to go visit some people. So long story short, this test, that test, whatever. So I was given the opportunity to either do something about these things that I was looking at: hypertension, diabetes, high blood pressure, inefficient heart, triglycerides off the scale, not good. This enzyme, that enzyme. So they had all the medications that I was about to start taking lined up, where they said, "Do something about it." I chose B. Put it up in prayer. Committed to it. And in 2015, ran my first marathon.
Which
And
marathon did you run?
Treasure Coast Marathon.
That's a hot one.
83 degrees.
Yes.
But we did it.
Yeah.
Oh, it was hot. But it's changed my life. It's changed my attitude. It's changed my my health. Not on a single medication. My blood pressure averages 120 over 60, pulse rate in the 50s, on and on and on. So I guess what I'm saying is, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
But I have to give you a heads up that most people don't go out and start to run a marathon.
No.
Most people go out and start to run a 5K.
Sure.
But
So-
of course, you're kind of extremist in everything you do.
But yes, you're right. And I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
But as Confucius once said, the longest of journeys is started with but a single step.
And the longest of races is started with a single mile.
There you go. And what happened was, in getting into this program, I examined all the reasons why I failed previously. So I changed it. So I went into what's called a couch to 5K program. There's several different types, and this is something I did myself. So my first goal was to be able to run from lamppost to lamppost without grabbing my ankles and begging for mercy. That's how bad of shape I was in. And then every little thing was a
I'm
victory.
sorry, if you could grab your ankles, you weren't in that bad a shape.
I could, I could grab my ankles, but the bending,
gotcha.
bending in the other directions is a
Yeah.
challenge. I'm just fortunately flexible in that direction. I don't know. Maybe God's got a sense of humor. But yeah, he does have 3 daughters. Yes, God does have a sense of humor. So,
God bless your girls.
Oh, yes. And I went from, how do I do this without being self-deprecating? I went from pathetic to competitive. It didn't happen overnight, and it wasn't easy. I will to this day say that it was more difficult training to get from couch to 5K than training for my marathon. Mm-hmm. Because again, Yogi Berra, 90% of it was half mental. I did not believe I could do it. That's a horrible way to go about things, but I had doubts. But it's amazing what this sport can do for you.
And the thing about running too is, as I mentioned, some longtime runners in this area, it's a lifetime sport, and it's something you can do when you're traveling, and it's something that you can enjoy with other people. And there's been many years that I took weekend vacations or longer vacations that were around races.
Nice.
And they were a lot of fun, especially pre-children, when we weren't dragging all the kids with us. But we had a group that went down on a regular basis to the 7 Mile Bridge Run, which was an awesome, incredible party and run, and really set set the level for having a race event. And a lot of times when you go to places like Twin Cities for the Twin City Marathon and the New York Marathon or the Boston Marathon, you have different events that are involve the whole city, and I see that's where you're going with the Sugar Plum Run.
Exactly.
You're not trying to just have, okay, here are some runners having a run. You're trying to have an event that everybody can come to and be a part of, whether you're the one that actually registers or you're the one that's coming out cheering the people running, or whether you're volunteering.
That's exactly it. We want it to be an event for whatever level of participation you decide. Run, walk, jog, wog, or just watch and encourage. We love encouragers. Encouragers are great. Crossing the finish line, you hear those encouragers, we love them. So we want this to be an event. That's absolutely right.
So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to go home this afternoon. I had already pulled it up on my computer and I was looking at it, but I'm going to go home and complete my registration. And I'd like to see, perhaps I can issue a challenge to some of our cross-country runners, some of our middle school and high school runners who will just be ending the cross-country season that week to come on out and show what they've learned over the last 3 months or so. And
great opportunity.
Yeah, and hopefully do it with a little bit cooler weather and an evening. It can't, I don't want to say it can't be hotter, because there have been those nights in November that have been. But, you're going to, if you're sweating with everybody else. So it'll be a fun time anyhow.
By having it November 10th, it may be cool, it may not be cool, but it's not going to be August 15th. So we know it's not going to be a drudgery. It'll be warm at worst. So it'll be a great night. We're lifting it up in prayer. We want an amazing night. And we have a feeling that our prayers are going to be answered.
And there are a lot of different ways that people can get involved, and there's a lot of different ways that you can check on it. You can go online to thesugarplumrun.com, check out the Facebook page, The Sugar Plum Run. You can sign up right there with the link online, and you can also, if you want to have these really cute little plum-colored postcards distributed through your office or your school, or Al will drop off, or his cronies will drop off a bunch of them for you. And if you have a group that needs a little bit of a pep talk to get involved, then he'll come out and pep you up and tell you the story about how he went from the couch to the 5K and how he lost, I still can't believe, 60 pounds.
And since my surgery, I put some of it back on.
I want to see. I want to see pictures.
I've got proof. I do have proof.
I can't imagine. Now, sports are a way of life for a lot of families, and I know when Al and I first met, it was through soccer yep. actually, and most organized sports like soccer or basketball or volleyball or whatever sports your kids or your family are involved in, you need some type of physical fitness in order to get better at what you do. So even if running is not your primary passion or your family's passion, it's a really good cross-curricular, whether you're a gym rat and like to go to Orange Theory or CrossFit or Gold's or LA or any of the other local gyms, still you can get all your buddies from the gym to come out and have it be like a competition with all the people from your gym as well. Prove yourself. If you can run 5 miles on a treadmill, then you can probably do a 5K or a 10K.
Oh, easily, yeah.
Yeah, you would think so. Although sometimes people who run only at the gym don't understand the challenges of running outside.
Well, unless you can carry an air conditioner with you, yeah, it's a little bit different.
It is, because I have people who go, I don't understand. I run a 23-minute 5K on the treadmill. Well, yeah, in 65-degree AC. But there's nothing, once you get used to running out with a crowd in the streets, in a racing and running environment, you will truly be addicted. It's a lot of fun to do.
It will change your life. It will. It will change your life for the positive.
And it's an opportunity, to get together with friends and family. And if you're coming out for the 5K or the 10K, go ahead and bring your family out there with you, because they could come and they can volunteer at there's a lot of different volunteer opportunities at registration or on as part of the route. Out on the route, because you need other than just the
We'll put you to
police. You need other people with orange vests pointing the way, go this way, go that way, following directions, of course. And that way you won't have to cook dinner for anybody, because everybody can be part of the fun. Now, if you're bringing the family out there and they're not running, is there a way to sign up just for the food? Have you thought about that yet?
Oh, yeah. If you're just kind of hanging
Yeah.
downtown tradition, we're going to make the paella and other certain foods very available at a very reasonable price. We're not looking to soak anybody. So, you didn't run, so you got to pay a lot of money. No. We're determining what that price point
So there
will be.
will be a food ticket
Absolutely.
available for the rest of
Absolutely.
the family.
Absolutely right.
The family of participants. Although I'll tell you that you can take the whole family out there. A 5K distance is very manageable, and
It is.
some of you walk, some of you run. How about dogs and strollers and skates?
So glad you asked. Not so much skates, because that could get kind of dangerous, because people on inlines and stuff like that. We don't necessarily, we haven't had that come up, quite frankly. Been involved with several races, have not had that come up. But dogs are so welcome. As long as they're on a leash, they're welcome.
Yes.
Strollers, nothing more beautiful than a mom pushing a stroller or racing with a 5K. Love it, absolutely love it. We want to see that.
Although there's nothing sadder than when I'm passed by a woman pushing a stroller, but I'm just saying personally.
Yeah, I've been there. That's humbling.
Yeah,
that's
it
really
is.
humbling.
Okay.
It's just like, really? But yeah.
But that's okay.
Strongly encouraged.
And it's a lot of fun. And, it's an evening race, so you could actually kind of decorate the stroller.
Well, there's going to be some sort of decoration and theme there. Decorate the stroller, but I think Cliff mentioned something earlier about fairies or something like that. But Cliff Desmond was not aware that Sugar Plum Fairies will be on site giving out finisher medals to each one of the participants.
I was going to say, if we could just catch a few pictures of it for my paranormal website, would be great.
Sugar Plum Fairies?
Sugar Plum Fairies.
With wings and everything?
I don't know if they're going to have wings on, but they're going to be there.
Well, some don't.
Well, Miss Danielle Willis and I believe it's the Port St. Lucie Ballet, or who are doing the Nutcracker production. They are bringing their Sugar Plum Fairies out, and they're going to be bestowing the Sugar Plum Run finisher medals on each one who crosses the finish line.
And these are vegan sugar plums, too, by the way.
And that will be quite an opportunity for pictures, too. So I hope our local photographers are thinking about coming
Mitch
out.
Chlorphane, if you're out there. Mitch, hello,
Marianne,
we need you.
yes,
Marianne,
yep. Yeah, join us for the first.
I'd love to take a picture of Mitch running.
No, Mitch doesn't run, but Mitch he has done rollerblades with his camera before.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah,
Well, I bet he has like a GoPro.
I've also seen him go down on rollerblades with his
That wouldn't be
camera,
good.
holding the camera up. Mitch will try anything at least once, and both he and Marianne and all of the other
Sugar
local
Plum
photographers, yes, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
All the other photographers, the local photographers, are invited to come out and take pictures because everybody likes to be photographed when they're receiving an award.
Absolutely.
And everybody's going to get a medal.
Everyone gets a medal, and there's, like I said, first, second, and third place in each age group, and trophies for overall male and female for each race, male and female winners, and overall masters, male and female, for each race.
How about grandmasters?
Well, next year.
Okay, just checking. So how, when you add it up, you're talking about $30 for the 5K and
40 for
40
the 10.
for the 10K. But you're going to get a tech shirt.
You're going to get a tech shirt.
You're going to get fed.
You're going to get fed.
Not just water and bananas, but paella.
And possibly more.
And pizza as well. And you're going to get a souvenir medal. And if you run fast enough, you'll also get an age group medal. That's an awful lot that you're getting for the money.
Value, that's correct.
Yes,
Yep.
so it's a value race. And not to mention the fact that you're going to be chip timed by Mike Melton, and he does an awesome job, and you'll get your time, whether it's your fastest time or your first time. You'll be able to compare it. Now, I'm assuming we're going to do it next year.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this year, the registration response so far has been amazing. The corporate response has been amazing. The municipal response is going to be amazing. We have to do this next year. This could be such an event for us.
Well, here's the thing, too. There's a certain amount of racing season in Florida where the weekends are just glutted with 5Ks and 10Ks and even other shorter and longer distances. But there's only so long those winter months last, and you're just outside the window of the winter. And so there's a need for races like this, not just races, but racing events that the whole family, the whole city, the whole area can get behind. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Al, you said that you can register online at thesugarplumrun.com.
Correct.
Or on the Facebook page at the Sugar Plum Run. It's a mouthful if you're talking quickly.
It is, and it has to be the Sugar Plum Run, not Sugar Plum Run, the Sugar Plum Run. So.
Okay, so you check it out online. You've been listening to the Sue Ellen Sanders Show. I'm here every week talking to somebody who wants to make a difference in the community. Al Soricelli's been my guest today. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you. Had a great time. Thank you.
We'll see you back here next week with more.
Now, before this show runs on the air on WPSL, it's going to be on YouTube. So tomorrow night, find this show on YouTube. I'll share it on the WPSL AM 1590 Facebook. And once it's on Facebook, have at it and help us promote this and share it with all your friends, right?
Right.
The Sue Ellen Sanders Show on Digital 1590 WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.